Well, here we are.
Here we are. I'm Sandy.
And I'm Al.
I have an idea.
Okay.
We've talked about the pool industry and how the telephone inquiries and the online inquiries are going a little crazy right now. And there are a lot of super amazing, cool people that I would love to tell them, sure, we can build a pool for you. However, in reality, we're a smaller boutique company. We're going to choose a handful of pools to build in 2021 as we're booked for 2020. And then we'll continue choosing probably a select few projects moving forward. So I thought it might be fun for us to be on a pool appointment for the purpose of this conversation so that you could get a sense of what we do on a pool appointment and go through the process with us. And some people will find that more than ever, they'd love to be able to talk to us about a pool. And some people might find themselves better prepared for talking to another builder in the pool industry. So what do you think? Should we
It's intriguing and interesting.
play pool appointment?
I think it would be well worth having the conversation around upon arrival what I expect to do and find.
Okay.
And what I expect to look for and the thought process that goes into the questions.
Okay.
Because
So let's start
Okay.
at the beginning then, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So if you
So
guys
let's-
are game,
all right,
we are going to play
so what happens before?
pool inquiry to pool appointment. So why don't you
So
do
I'm
you
assuming
do ring ring and I'll be Galena for a minute.
Okay, so we'll start at the beginning then.
We're at the beginning.
Okay, ring ring. Currently I'm the
Wait.
customer.
Okay, yep. So do the telephone.
Ring ring, hello. I'm looking for swimming pool.
Hello, I'm Galena. I am the frontline, most amazing person you will ever talk to here at Legendary Escapes. How can I help you today?
Well, I'm looking to have a project built and I want my dream backyard and I'm looking for all these different things and I don't know where to go. I don't know how to get started. I ran across you online. I love your stuff.
I am so happy you called. I am so happy that you called. Yes, I work with some of the most amazing people ever in the universe, and they build amazing pool projects. And we also have a lot of really, really cool friends. So in the event that we're not a fit for your project, I do have a list of people standing by the phone that I can refer you to. Yes, so I'm really glad that you mentioned that you've been on our website. So typically at that point, what Galena will do is she will talk about the way that we are a little bit. She'll talk about the creativity of our projects. She'll mention that we built hybrid. She'll often ask if there were any projects on the website that caught the client's attention, any features that they're looking for, and Galena will always on the first telephone call have the conversation about budget, just to get a sense of where you would like to be in terms of building. So to cover the project ranges really quickly, there is, from 0 to $1 million, anything in between. So if somebody is looking for an above ground pool, we have got friends and connections that build above ground pools. Typically, I'm thinking you're gonna come in under 20 for those. And then the entry level kind of vinyl liner swimming pool budget, you're looking at probably 0 to 30. 30
to 40.
is the real number.
Yeah, 30 is the real number.
When it comes to the pool, the patio, the pool equipment, the fence, and
Your basics,
a little bit
your
of
basics,
landscaping
yeah.
around there. So you're at about 30 to 40 for that. And then,
I would say conservatively 40.
okay,
Not when you add a little bit of landscaping and a little bit you're at 40,000.
40. So 40,000 is a nice get wet, have fun in the backyard,
entry level in-ground pool.
vinyl liner in-ground pool. From there, you move into the a little bit more, I guess would be the category of a little bit more pool. So you'd have your vinyl liner and fiberglass, that could be in the budget range of like 40 to 70, 40 to 80, depending on if you're looking for additional features, things like that.
And gunite falls in there as well.
If somebody's thinking gunite though, I would probably start a gunite budget at
80 to 90 probably.
Yeah, 80 is I think a real number. 80 to the sky's the limit really with gunite, but 80 to 100 you can get a very nice solid backyard swimming pool. So then we move into the levels of legendary escapes that we have, and I would love to be able to say that we can build a ton of mini legendary pools. I just don't know that we can though, because we are a boutique company. You know, you've seen a lot of us online. You know that there are only so many people that are on our team that build in our legendary style. So each season it varies a little bit depending on the mix of pools, but we're probably doing a couple like modest legendary experiences and then like one mega uber cool legendary a season. So we're probably just looking in 2021, go figure. In 2021, 2022, we're probably just looking for like 4
to 5 per year.
4 projects. Yeah, maybe. So, and ideally those would be a mix of the somewhat entry-level legendary experiences to the full-fledged lazy river, once upon a time, uber extravagant pirate ship experiences.
I think that the sweet spot though is in between. While we can do either of those extremes and we have a great time doing it, I think our sweetest spot is sort of that middle legendary without completely themed or not at all themed at all, kind of somewhere in the middle. And that tends to be what our team responds the best to. While none of us mind doing, for lack of a better word,
of the elements,
right?
Of it, yeah.
We seem to enjoy all of it, but the simpler the project, the less excitement it brings for everybody because there's not as much thought around art. Yes, right, and everybody's looking at things all the time with a sense of creativity that sometimes there's just not the budget to do that.
Right.
But that then also takes away from the artist.
Right. So moving into 2021, an entry budget for the legendary experience is going to start in the solid like 150 plus range.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know what? You can get an amazing pool and it doesn't have to be that much. But the way that we build and the materials that we choose, the bluestone coping, the true tile, the ceramic tile in your pool, the eco finish, just the components alone, that's what it adds up to. So on top of that, then we can go into the theming and the artistic element budget of things. So that's where we are in terms of budget. Normally on the call, what Galina says is she'll take a bunch of notes, she'll find out what it is that you're looking for. If there is an obvious match for you with somebody who's not us, she'll make it right in that initial phone call. If she's not quite sure, or if she thinks it warrants a little more conversation, then she'll make all the notes and then we'll discuss it as a team. And at that point, sometimes there's a referral that makes a lot of sense for you. And sometimes then it would move into the next level with us. So when that happens, I would typically review it and I would discuss it with Al and other members of our team, and we would decide if it has enough of the elements that would warrant us talking to you further. And at that point, sometimes I'll give you a call myself and go ahead and chat about it and then schedule. But sometimes Galina has been so thorough in her incoming call screening process that I can take those steps ahead of time, just from what she has indicated that you've mentioned. And then sometimes as well, if I know that like your inquiry came in via House or Pinterest or Facebook or something like that, I'll review kind of what you sent in initially, and how you even phrased what you're looking for is a good indicator to me as to what type of project or experience you're looking for. I will also go back and I will listen to the incoming voicemails just to double check kind of what it is that you've been asking for. And then at that point, we may be scheduling what we call the pool appointment or the play date with Al to come out to get to know you. So in like the olden days, I mean, let's face it, like a couple of years ago, or with more traditional pool builders, the next step is the appointment, where they come out and they try to sell you on why their company is amazing and what they can offer. And our experience is quite a bit different. So let's go ahead and, all right, here's Al coming out to your pool appointment. And he pulls up in the driveway. I was going to go ahead and like knock, but at this point, I'm pretty sure people are watching for you to arrive at approximately 7 p.m. Why is it that we set a pool appointment for 7 p.m. in the evening, whether it's a weekday or a weekend?
Because I work all day. It only makes sense that I'm on the job, and we'll talk a bit about that, but here's some assumptions that I make.
Okay.
If one of these play dates is set up for me, by the time I get there, here's what I understand, is that the girls in the office have done all of the due diligence, whether it's sending you back to the website, sending you to review some stuff, or sent some YouTube links for you to watch some of our stuff, or they've made you do some work. Yeah. So now when I get there, you're invested in me. You have some hours. You didn't just pick up the phone, call 4 numbers in the book, 4 people called you back, and people came on the appointment. Maybe that happened for the other 3, but we're very different. And
okay,
hang on.
Well, all right, go ahead.
So likely there weren't 3 before us because there's just not a match there.
Right. If you call around and say that you're looking for quotes or you're having multiple people out, then we will automatically excuse ourselves from that conversation because we know that you'll likely find what you need with somebody other than our company.
It also goes to, if that's your phrasing and your wording, that's your expectation, and that's how you're going to gauge decisions moving forward. Right. And what we recognized for the people that we thoroughly enjoy doing business with is that that's not in their realm.
That's not what they ask for.
It's not at all what they're looking for.
So,
they may not have the words for it,
right,
but it's never phrased that way, because that way of phrasing it is never going to lead us toward something that is going to work for us.
Right. Well, we've done a lot of work on this, and you've likely heard the story when Al was talking about a number of years ago, he was burned out from the pool business, and he said, what if we could do exactly what we love, work for people that made us feel amazing, we could make feel amazing during the process. Wouldn't that be just the pinnacle of where a business could ever want to be? So when we invite you to have a pool appointment or this play date with Al that we've coined, we have already heard enough in your questions and in the way that you come across to know that you would be a good fit for our legendary owners club. Because Al was just commenting, was it today or yesterday? He was thinking about the people that we have built pools for and how there are so many characteristics and traits that are similar, and how everybody is so awesome, and when the phone rings and they call, like, we want to answer the phone, we're so happy to hear from them. And that is just what every day gets to be like when we have become so clear on who we work the best with. And if we don't get to work with you, it doesn't mean that you're not awesome, because you certainly are in your own way. And we may have the opportunity to work with you on the service side, which there is somebody that had called a number of years ago, probably 8 or 9 years ago, and talked about wanting a pool. And we said, we're not necessarily the right fit to build for you. However, we do also run a service team. And if you find a need, we would love to talk to you again about that. And we weekly service and care for a pool that was built by another
Referred to
team,
someone else.
referred out at the time that they were looking to build, but we have an amazing ability to take care of their pool now on the service side. So yeah, that's a long way of saying, like, if we're at this point, like, you're outstanding, and yet, like, you could still have somebody else build the pool and still be amazing, and we'll form
still be
that
friends.
relationship with you as well. So yeah.
Because this didn't just happen by magic. It's not like one day, I did wake up one day and say, what could we do, and do what we love to do and only what we love to do. And as we refine that, we spent an awful lot of time internally in discussion, in dialogue, in review, in learning, in growing and changing as human beings to recognize how important it is for us to live this way. It's not like one day we're like, all right, we're just going to be different. All right, now we're different, and away we went. It was years of constant reflection, going over the mistakes we made. How could we have done this better? How could we have read a customer better? How could we have listened to what they said and realized that it wasn't going to be a fit? And so that was years and years and years of practice.
And we continually do that to this day.
We do. We look at characteristics in people today and go,
to grow and change every
absolutely.
day. Yeah.
So
Al's making a bunch of assumptions here.
So we get to that point, and you guys have already weeded out 90% of the hesitation or the concern with who they are,
or it's not,
or whether it's a fit or not.
Ideal fit for us.
Right. So you've weeded out most of that. So my job.
So Galina and I have to get a good first impression, and then we'll send out Al, and then here's his job.
So when I get there, I know that you've done this process. You've gone through a bunch of stuff. And amazingly, a few people go through that really quickly.
Yeah.
And they go from here to boom, we're play dating right away. We're going to have an appointment.
Yeah.
But most people, it takes some time, and here's why. We're not like other companies.
No.
That's the difference. Your expectation, because what we're used to in construction is you make the phone call, you meet all these people, you make decisions, and is it dollars, is it features and benefits, how do you make your buying decisions? Well, we've kind of eliminated all of that by the time I get there. Yeah. What I'm looking for is, how am I going to feel about what we do? And I'm going to lead you through a series of questions. I'm never, until we're an hour in or half an hour in, we're never really going to talk about, what do you want the pool to look like? What features and benefits do you want? Those don't matter at that point to me. Yeah. What I want to know is who you are. And you know what? Here's the beauty and the drawback to that. A lot of people don't know who they are, and they're afraid to find out who they are. Mm-hmm. So when you've sent them through this process that now they're vested in me a little bit, now I can dig deeper and say, are you ready to take the journey? Right. Because this is a journey that we're going to be on together. It's not a build, it's not construction, it's a journey, it's a process.
And it is not something that when we say, okay, we'll build you a pool, like, you don't ever, or the people who make it through this process, like, you're not concerned about what the start date and what the end date of our your yard time looks like. You are invested in this whole process. And I'd like to just jump in and add, we, like a year ago, had an inquiry come in, and this was somebody that had a pool appointment with Al before we had gone through all of our personal and company development work. And this individual called back, I think actually on your cell phone, and said, I'd like to revisit this conversation about a pool. So what did we decide to do? We decided we're going to start you at the beginning. So we took this person that had a pool appointment with Al before, and we had Galina start at the beginning. Please visit the website, figure out why do you want a project? Why do you want the pool? What's important to you? What matters in your life? And instead of an automatic, oh sure, Al, we'll come back out there, let's talk about slamming a pool in your yard. No, this process is as important for you as it would be for us. So in that case, this family was more than ready to jump back into it. The reasons for wanting a pool had changed. The need for it in their life had changed. Recognizing what it meant had changed. And what happened as a result of that process, I like to refer to it as the family resume came back. And they had definitely talked about it, thought about it, and then the husband had typed up kind of this, I'm so happy that you made us like take a look at this again, and here's what's important to us, here's what matters, and this is why we would like to talk to you about building us a pool. And that was an amazing entry point for our conversation with them.
Well, that leads to something that I talk about at every meeting that I have, is there's a drastic difference between a lifestyle pool and a style of life pool. And if your intention is to have a lifestyle pool, meaning, ooh, I have a pool in my backyard to impress my friends, to whatever, and you kind of get caught up in that, that's not what we do.
No.
While what we build are magnificent and way cooler than lifestyle pools, I'm looking for specific terms and things that you're saying in terms of what's your style of life? How do you lead your life and live your life with those around you, and how do you interact, in what way, and why would you want to do this? Why do you want to feel a certain way? We talk about feelings. Most people never want to talk about feelings. We talk about loving each other, something you don't typically want to talk to a contractor about and I say that to them, I want to be able to fall in love with you. And if I can't, I don't want to do business.
And if you can't, why would we even do this? Because if the phone rings and we see through the caller ID that you are calling us, or if we are calling you and we can't be excited that that's happening, that is not a fit. Life is too short, and the amount of interactions we get to have with people, I mean, it's abundant, but it's also scarce at the same time. Why would you ever choose something that didn't make you feel amazing?
Well, I think what's happened is our media world has kind of conditioned people to believe that the customer is always right. That it's all the decisions are because a customer decides. And I think that is so false, because at least as we figured out, we can choose a customer equally, if not more, than a customer can choose us.
More.
Now, if we're on a sales call and we're trying to beat the other guy out, then it all goes to a customer making a decision. But since we've kind of let that go and put that in the far in the background, now we can look at how do we want to feel when you call us, and not,
and how do we hope you feel
when we call you?
When
Absolutely.
we call you.
Yeah, and when you do that, it goes to the formula that I've used, and I'm going to share it here because it's important, is that if we're a really great company and we work really hard to be a great company, and you're not a very good customer as a human being, which there's a lot of not good customers in the world, they may think they're good because the media has always said customer's always right. The reality is the ones that realize that's not true, understand the difference between a good customer or not. But if I'm a great company and you're not a good customer, it doesn't work. If I'm a terrible company and you're a great customer, it doesn't work. If I'm a terrible company and you're a terrible customer, it doesn't work. The only time that magic really happens, and here's why most people don't like their contractors, because 75% of the options are one of those three things I showed you. I mentioned. One's not a fit for the other for one reason or another, or they're both not a fit. But 25% of the time there's magic, and it's when I'm a great company and you're a great customer. And when we work together, magic can happen. And we've put the odds in our favor by taking a person through this process to make sure that they understand what being a great customer is. Because we work really hard at being a great company.
We do. And part of that is understanding who you are. Who are you as a consumer, and who are we as a company? What are the values that we operate in our company with? What are the values that you as a consumer operate with? So this isn't saying that if you're not a fit for us, it's like you're bad in any sense.
You're
That
just not a
is
fit for us.
it.
No.
It's just that we have taken the time to figure out where we thrive. And if you have taken the time to figure out where you thrive, and if we can communicate that clearly, that is really, I think, the foundation of where this greatness comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And people who haven't done that yet, you can still be great people, and you can have great experiences with other companies. This is just something that we have really found and been very clear on makes us feel thriving and successful and valued and valuable, and we value you as a homeowner, as a customer, as one of our legendary people. If you have even been willing to think about that for yourself, that is really where that match comes from.
What I realize is people aren't used to operating this way when it comes to a contract situation, which it takes time. Even for people that we do end up building for, there's some apprehension at first because they continue to click back into the way that they've had to be,
right,
with that previous contractor, with that guy that screwed them with the whatever. They kind of, you click back into that because it's what you know.
Sometimes you just don't know what
But
to say,
you
and
don't know.
It
Mhm.
is perfectly okay if we ask you a question on the front side or along the way, if you just haven't even ever considered that before. More communication versus less is always good. So you could say, wow, that is new, and I have never thought about life in that way or business in that way. Whatever your truth is, really is kind of what we're looking for. So it is okay.
That's the goal.
It is okay to say that, if
I've
any
never
of
thought of
us
that.
ask you a question, I have never considered that before. Yeah.
Well, I know that we came to these conclusions some time ago that let's only do what we enjoy. Let's only have a good time every day, because life just goes really fast.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I blink and 34 years of pool history has gone by for me.
Yep.
Just like that. And it was just yesterday I was a young guy doing this. And so why not only do the stuff that makes us feel really good for people that we can really enjoy?
And some people say, well, you have a work life and a private life, or a business life and not a business life. And for me, I will tell you, my kids are in this business, and Al and his family are in this business. And I can only send people that I love and care about into situations that I know will be good. Why would I ever, just for the sake of making a sale or having a customer, why would I send somebody into a situation that isn't the most amazing it could be, or it isn't healthy, or it isn't a win-win? Business is so personal to me that I couldn't even do it any other way. I just can't. So
we're back in this pool appointment.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this is something I've never said out loud, but I think about it all the time. It's just not something that you would talk about. Is no one is ever going to impress me with the house they live in, with the car they drive, with the clothes they wear, with the amenities they have in their house. I've been through some spectacular homes that I would never want to do business with those people.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through some really, really rough houses that I would love to work for every single day.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's never the neighborhood you live in. It's never the address you have.
So
it's never the community.
Translation, it's not the superficial.
That's lifestyle. That's lifestyle stuff versus style of life stuff.
Okay.
Yes. So,
but you could have some of those.
What you have is okay.
And be amazing.
Sure.
But
It's not exclusive. It's not one or the other.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you from my perspective, much like I am never going to impress you with the car I drive, with the clothes I wear, because that's not a concern of mine. Mine is the love of this thing that I get to do. And if those are really important to you, that's fine. have them be important to you. They're just not important to me.
Right.
And there's not a sense of,
So wait,
ooh,
if you value a contractor showing up in a brand new truck that doesn't look like it has any dirt on it, which I don't really know how a contractor could have a truck not looking like it has dirt on it if they are a contractor who does stuff. But if that's important to you, we're not your people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of those basic pieces that are lifestyle choices.
Yeah.
And we're just not a fit, and that's okay. It's
Right.
there's not a right or wrong thing.
We know people who drive spotless vehicles.
We know lots of people like
can
that
send you to.
that
Yeah.
that's just not who we are, and it's not what we do.
Yeah.
When I'm there, I'm not ever. I mean, how many times you show up in someone's house and they're like, "Oh, we're sorry, it's dirty," or "Oh, when we go down to the basement, oh, we didn't get the basement clean."
Yeah.
You know what? That is absolutely irrelevant to me.
And stop making
Yeah,
excuses.
it's irrelevant to me.
It is
makes
what it is.
no difference. What I care about is what's in here, who you are as a human being, and how you value experiences, and how you value relationships, and how willing you're going to be to grow and change. Because I promise you, I'm going to push you to grow and change mentally and emotionally. And in some ways, those are good things because we're going to grow as human beings. But some of them are painful because I'm asking you, hang on a second.
Okay.
Let me finish this thought.
I have a but. Go ahead.
Look ahead. Go with your butt.
But, like, I'm hiring you to build me a pool. Like, why?
You are not.
Why am I?
You're
going
not
to
hiring
grow
me to
and
build you a
change?
pool. You're hiring me to change your life.
Oh.
So the difference really comes down to that is my goal is to change fundamentally who you are. Not make you me. I don't want you to be me, but I want you to see another way. Whether you embrace that way for the rest of your life or not is one thing, but my goal is to help you become a different person. I would consider it a better person because I'm always trying to be a better person, and I'm always wanting to grow and be better at who I am and what I do and how I treat people and how I care. That's what I want every single time. Every time I meet people, that's my ultimate goal. In the process, we're building you something that's fabulous, that's amazing. It's like the comfy couch. It's not the couch in your living room with the plastic on it. It's the comfy couch that everyone wants to be there. They want to constantly be thrilled and overwhelmed by feeling good, feeling soothed and comforted and hugged and held. My goal is that our work hugs you every day.
Do you feel good? Feel awesome and amazing?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Cool guy
So
rap.
when my intentions on the front side, and you know what? There's some people that are going to go, whoa, too fruity for me.
Wait.
I get it.
And does it only apply to the husband or the wife?
Oh, no.
Or does it apply to the kids?
Oh no,
as well?
it's the kids, it's
and
extended
the
family.
grandparents and the siblings.
This is about creating experience that lasts forever. And to get experiences to last forever takes quantity time. You know, as much as we want to get in and get out as fast as possible so we can get on with our lives, that's not this at all. If that's what you're looking for, again, not us. We're going to give you an experience that you can remember for the rest of your life. Does it take a while? Yes. Here's my belief, and here's why. I think to have quality moments in life takes quantity time. So to just decide to have quality moments with someone doesn't happen magically. It's over time spent together. You had these magical moments that happen.
You mean I can't make an appointment for quality time?
You can certainly try. I'm going to guess that it may be, let's say you did that with your child.
Yes.
And you scheduled some time.
Scheduling quality time.
You go through your mindset as to what quality time is going to be. I'm going to go here, we're going to take you there, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You take your child on that experience, and to you, I did a quality mom thing today. It was a quality time together. Your kid's more happy when you were throwing dandelions at each other. Your kid's more happy. So what you call a quality moment is not what they necessarily call a quality moment. So you can plan it.
They'll remember.
Yeah.
And Al is referencing.
I'm referencing a dandelion story for her.
Specific.
Mm-hmm. And if I can approach all of this in that way, that let's build quality time through quantity time, and that's why we're there. We don't have subcontractors. We don't have all these other, it's us. We're building quality moments. Every single one of us is invested in your life somehow for that period of time. Yeah. And eventually, you never want us to leave, but we have to leave. We have to move to the next thing. But in that process, my goal is to change you because I want to change.
And in that process, we become a part of your family and you become a part of our family, like forever.
And we fundamentally change as human beings in everything we do. Now, some of it's philosophical and we stretch boundaries on mental and how to do things, and some of it's in creativity, and some of it is just in styles of life.
And some of us may grow apart over time, and some of us may grow closer together. And like, I'm talking about us in terms of us and you as a customer. Like, some of our customers, like, we're with them and then they go on and they do their thing, and others go on and do their thing and come back, and then we're like they're besties forever. And however that happens, that's cool. But like any there's a whole array of things that happen.
There's another element of this as well for me, is the money is irrelevant.
The money is permission to play. So
money is permission to play, but it is irrelevant.
Right. Like the money is what makes it possible. And there has to be a certain threshold of the finances that make it possible for us to do what we do and for you to have what you're looking for. But that is not ultimately why we do this.
No.
At all.
The money for me is quite irrelevant. I know that we need it to pay people and to keep things moving and buy supplies and do those things. And
let me just say, it is so relevant to Al that sometimes you'll give him a check for 6 figures and he will fold it in half and he will put it in his pocket and he will pour concrete and it will come back to the office soaking wet, and I have to like peel it apart, and it could be like for 6 figures, and I'm just kind of hoping the bank will still take it, or I'll have to give you a call, which I mean ultimately
they're usually 5 figures. They're rarely 6, but okay.
Occasionally
in terms of a draw,
they
I get it.
But yeah. So anyway, yeah, that is how critical. Like, some people would like put it in a solid lockbox in their car, but like Al shoves it in his pocket and it comes back sometimes.
We've had a few rough checks come back.
Yeah. Awesome.
To me, though, I want it to be the experience that I get to have, that I get to share with people that I can love, that I can love those people more every day, that the people that are working with me and are part of my team, that we can enjoy the experience and love the experience and have it as a memory. Have it as something that we cherish, as opposed to, oh, remember when we had to, blah. Instead, it's, hey, remember when we did this, when we did that.
So I'm having so much fun talking about all of this that I'm forgetting, like, we're officially on a pool appointment.
You're sort of the bossy customer that wants to do all the talking. I get it.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It is.
So back to the part where we're pretending that we're meeting you for the first time on the pool appointment. Shoot.
You can't stop.
I can't.
You can't. It's okay. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Okay. So pretend.
So going back to that place, I'm looking for words that are emotionally driven, that are feeling driven. Why are you doing this? What is this filling for you in your life? How is this going to help enrich your life? How is this going to be something that you can truly enjoy? And when you live there, as opposed to how much is it going to cost, how long is it going to take, what do I have to expect? When you live there, it's what I call plastic building. It's like a home that's built out of plastic. You click a piece together, go on a shelf, pull another piece, click it together, and now you have a custom plastic home, custom plastic pool, custom plastic cabinets, anything. You can use that reference in a lot of things. The intention is to go so far away from that while a picture side by side, you may not see the nuances. You can if you look close enough, but being there, you feel the difference. Right. And it takes time and energy to do that, to think through all the quirky little fun things, because that's another part of this, is we're going to be quirky and fun and funky. We don't want to be stodgy. We don't want to be contemporary. We don't want to be formal. We don't want to be, and why build that way if that's not who we are, and if we don't enjoy it? Why would we ever in our wildest imagination decide to go, all right, we'll build something straight line and contemporary.
So
There's
along
plenty
those,
of people for that.
along those lines, we also want you to like just be yourself and show us where you are quirky and fun and whatever, like your most exciting, amazing scenario could be. Like, we would like to have a glimpse of what that is, because that really shows us who you are.
If I can understand where you get your greatest joy in life, if I can understand the things that really tickle you and make you happy and make you feel yummy inside, then I can cater toward those things. And it takes someone being a little bit out there. You can't be mainstream, straight-laced like everybody else in the neighborhood to be like that. Right. And most people just choose it because it's easier and they don't have to think about it. They just, let's be like everybody else. Everyone wants to be individual, but no one wants to do anything about it. They want to just fit in with everyone else. And so there's a mentality part to that. I'm not saying that you paint your house pink because the rest of them are white. That's not what I'm saying. You don't have to stand out in that way.
But if you did.
But if you did,
I can get behind that.
She'd get behind you on that one. But when you come to it from that perspective, that it's okay to have beige walls and it's okay to have whatever you want to have, but that's not what I choose. Right. And I'm not going to live that way just because a realtor told me to paint my house white or someone else says it's important to whatever. When you break that mold and you kind of live with you're buying this, and you have to understand that you're never getting your money out of this. You're not doing this as a financial move. Worst financial move you could ever make. Yeah. But if done properly, it adds a lot of value. If done poorly, not much value at all.
Best value.
Where your value is, though, is in memories, in experiences, in stories. And why else do we live this life? If we get to a point in life where we could even afford this, why do it unless it brings love and joy, not just, hey, look what I have. Yes. And so you get into that realm of the world. That's what you and I would spend our time talking about in that meeting. And we'll touch a little bit on, do you really want a spa or not? Do you want a this or not or that or not? But rarely are we going to do too many dream pictures about the pool itself, because that will always work itself out.
So the other thing that is happening in your appointment, and you don't have to know the answers to the questions about what do you want the pool to look like or what do you think it should have, because guess what? Al and our team, once they start working in your yard, are going to create exactly the perfect scenario for you without you ever having those answers. What you need is that permission to play budget, that we know that we can put those elements in place for you. But whether or not you know the answers to the questions, that doesn't matter.
That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
There is another thing, though, that becomes critical in all of this. And this is where, when we talked before about helping people grow, this is a real growth move. Letting go. Because the only way that this works and works well is when you let go. Not when I let go, when you let go. And you'll get there. If we ever go through this process, there'll come a moment, and it'll be an aha moment for you, where you'll just go, okay, I throw my hands up, let go. Because I understand everyone's apprehension. They want to be involved in making decisions because they think they're supposed to, because they've been conditioned, you got to make all those decisions. Well, that doesn't help me be creative or do the thing that I love to do if I have to ask you at every moment that everything that I want to do.
So when you say let go, what does that mean? Is it trust or
it's a little bit of all of that.
Allowing?
It's a little bit of all of it.
So we did have a pool appointment, the only pool appointment we've taken so far this entire year, and we would like to build this pool for these people, and they would like us to build the pool. And he said, what do I have to do? And we said, fund it. That is
just write the checks.
The extent of what you need, have to or need to do. You have to be able to fund this. And the relief that I felt in the room at that moment was like, You mean I can have this whole experience and it can happen, and all he has to do is write a check to fund it when we need that. Like, that was amazing.
Well, I think what happens, and I play this scenario over in my head a lot because I get it. I hear enough of the horror stories from enough of the contractors around. You go, why would you ever do that to people? Why would you ever put them through it? And I feel all that apprehension. But what I've spent time doing is paying attention to you. And I want to make sure that it's as seamless and flawless of a process as possible. Now, it's construction, so things happen, and we have to deal with things that happen in construction. I don't know all of it all the time. However, if I can make it easy for you, and you can learn to trust me, and that's a challenge because we don't want to give up. We don't want to trust people very often or very easily because we've been told that the world is bad and the big bad boogeyman is going to come and get us. So trust no one, love no one, like no one, any of that. Today, fortunately, we have social proof of what we've built, customers to talk to. People will tell you over and over and over, I had a hard time letting go, and then I just let go. And the more that you hear that on the front side, the easier it is for you to let go and let me make most of the decisions. And what's going to happen is you'll learn to really trust my decisions. I won't lead you wrong. I'm not doing it willy-nilly because I just think I want to do it that way. It's through hearing you, listening to you, watching you, reviewing you, seeing how you treat your children, how you treat your friends, how you talk about your parents, that is all part of my process. And I get to know you pretty well. Maybe not on an intimate level, and I don't know your deepest, darkest secrets. I don't care about those. But I've worked really hard at understanding people, and my goal is to have you let go. Because when you let go, then you can just enjoy the experience. You don't have to get anxious about it. You don't have to get too involved and have to make decisions and worry about whether you screwed up and made the right or wrong decision, whether you made the right color choice or not. I want to make those choices because I know it's going to work together. And I love the variety of what I do, and I love to get to challenge myself to be better all the time. And with that...
So, when Al says he gets to make the decisions, you don't make all of them.
I don't.
Sometimes our team makes those decisions as well. So, sometimes if you let go and let Al make the decisions,
well, really what it
team is
really what it comes down to is you're letting us make the decision.
Right.
I shouldn't say me.
Right.
We're letting us make those decisions.
Yeah.
And rarely would we go, wow, that was just the wrong decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't point out any one major thing that I've gone, wow, I really screwed that one up and I wouldn't do that again.
Because we aim to not find ourselves in those situations.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we have experience today, and I've made every mistake possible that could have been made. And that's part of the growth.
You know what, though?
It's part of the growing.
When we are always looking to make the best possible decision for us and for the people that we're working with, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's the right decision at the time.
It's what you know at the time. It's reflecting back on, and that's where we do have the experiences. We've been able to do something which was the best decision at the time, but then reflect back on it and go, ooh, I wouldn't do that again next time.
Right.
And because we have years and years of that practice allows us to not keep stumbling into, making poor decisions.
So back to the pool appointment. What else should we cover about the pool appointment? So typically, we've asked you for photos of your yard. We've asked you to talk about some of the things that are important to you, like even before we set the appointment. Often we ask you for a plot plan or mortgage survey just because whether it's us or if we send you somewhere else, like that's a critical piece that we'll probably need to figure out.
Well,
We'd like you to get to know us and our team because we are so not
Typical.
what you may expect. So that's really good, being open to it being different. What else in the like? How do you wrap it up, Al?
In the pool appointment, I'm looking to find out about them
Okay.
primarily, but then again, I want to see the scope of the project, what they expect, what they're hoping. But then I'm going to ask some really kind of weird questions, like, where in the world have you ever been that you really enjoyed? How did it make you feel? Why? What were the elements that made you feel that way? And here's something that people don't typically understand, and maybe it's just because they've never thought of it. But oftentimes our favorite restaurant, of course this was pre-COVID, who knows now, but oftentimes our favorite restaurant isn't because the food is good, it's because the environment is good. And so if you have great food and a really crappy environment, people remember that the food was good, but they won't come back. If you have okay food, but a great environment, people will always remember because they're telling a story in their head about how amazing it was. Whether the food was, ideally you have good food and the experience is good and the environment is good, but the environment, except for on occasion with the really hardcore foodies who are very specific about flavor, the average person wants the experience and they'll accept the food. If you can do both of them, it's great, but the environment is what's most important. So some of those questions that I ask is, where in the world have you been that you really like to be? How did it make you feel? Why did you feel that way? Because that helps guide me into the elements of things that I could put into a project to help you feel that way.
And you might say, we traveled to Europe through like the stone ruins of this castle, and I felt connected to the past and like so happy to be in the moment because we were like isolated and it was this private space. And that could translate into you having just this space in the midst of everything else going on in your yard where you can't really hear the noise from the road or the neighbors, and like it's not that you're transported to that place, but you're transported to
emotionally to that place
moment that you had that feeling of, I'm alone here and this is amazing.
Yeah, and I think those are the questions that I really spend the most time on. On occasion, we talk a little bit about the pool, but most of it is those other things, those intrinsic value things that if I can get a sense of who you are, then I can design something that's going to fill every one of those desires and fantasies and needs.
So you've been on pool appointments where people have not discovered until maybe during the pool appointment or after that their yard doesn't have enough space for this experience, which is understandable. It is what it is. Can't change it.
People don't know.
That's fine. Typically though, if you go on the appointment and you get to know people, how do you end it, and then what's next? And I guess I'm getting to, because I know the inside scoop on, sometimes Al can come back to the office and like he'll have met with you yesterday and then tomorrow the design will be complete. And sometimes you'll meet with somebody and the design won't be easy or it won't be done quickly. So it kind of goes both ways. So how does that work for you?
So what I will typically tell people that if I'm going to take that next step and do some design work is there's really no promise as to when it comes out. It's because on occasion, you're right, I'll drive back here and draw something up and have it done in an hour. And then there's times where weeks and weeks and weeks go by, because if it's in me but not ready to come out, I'm not going to force it out. I could force myself to just something on a piece of paper, but to me that's inferior to how do I want to feel about what I'm drawing. And sometimes it takes weeks. And in my head, I'm thinking about the process. So for me, because I'm the sales guy, designer guy, and builder guy, I'm thinking in my head, I start the process the minute I start talking about your pool, and I start building it in my head. And typically I go 4 feet underground and I start building up from there. And I probably build your pool 100 times in my head or more from underground up before I ever put it on paper. Sometimes that takes weeks. And that's why we want to make sure this is not a quick process. I'm not expecting to do this really fast. And I mean, we could build stuff really fast, but it's not going to have the soul and the emotion, the feeling to it. We could build basic pools. That's where I came from, is we built many, many basic pools, just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat all day long. And we could build those pools over in our sleep. But that's not the intent anymore. The intent is how can we make things absolutely amazing. And sometimes that just takes time. So it's typically weeks. Typically weeks.
Also, like, I just let the dogs in. Have we talked about the dogs?
We haven't. Nope, not in this. So what
We
you'll
should
also
do that
learn,
next.
what you'll also learn in the process is that if our dogs can't come on the job site, we won't build. We have a whole pile of golden puppies that at any given time you can have one dog on your job site with us, or there could be 5. It's usually not that many, but there have been times where we've had 5 pups with us all day long, because all of us have a dog and we all take our dogs to work, and our office here is lounged full of dogs all the time. And it's a part of our style of life, and it tells us a lot about people.
I think our dogs illustrate more of who we are than we ever could.
Oh.
This is Levi.
I'm just going to show puppies.
I mean, we have 5
Puppies, there's
dogs
another
here
one there.
right now, and yeah, I think your dog makes you more of what you are. And when we have our dogs with us, like,
we're better.
they're making us more
They're making us better.
than we already were.
Well, I think that's
I'll
something
pan that way. Let me pan this way.
Yeah, we couldn't quite get.
Oh, there's Atlas and Bob.
Emmy.
There's Emmy, who's amazing. There's Levi. And then
Levi's
there's
mama's right over there,
Callie.
Callie.
So anyway, yes, I think a dog illustrates more of who you are
Well,
as a person.
What also they do
And
is
you don't have to love dogs.
no,
If you do, though, that's a bonus.
it helps. What happens is the dog really teaches us every day to live in the moment.
Yeah.
And
Can I tell
to
you
not-
a side story?
Sure.
I played dog matchmaker this weekend.
Well, you
So
did.
we've had puppies, and Katie had Loki, and she had puppies, and then we had somebody that we built for at the Steampunk Moose, and they unfortunately lost one of their dogs they had when we built with them. And I got a message saying, we're looking for a dog. I know that you guys, you're more connected in the golden community, but if you hear of anything, let me know. And I had just seen a rescue lab mix dog that needed a home, and
voila, they're connected.
she drove home today. That's very exciting. So yeah, that makes me feel really, really good. It is so easy to fall in love with a puppy that will make you more of who you already are.
Well, what they do is they magnify who we are.
Magnify,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, they do. And with them in our lives, it just helps us recognize to live in the moment, because a dog completely lives in the moment. One moment to the next, it's all they're worried about. And all we need to do is remember that, and that allows us to stay in the moment. So our dogs are an important part of our life.
Shoot, and golden retrievers, more than any other breed I have experienced, not only do they live in the moment, but they care about you in the moment more than they care about themselves.
They always care about you in the moment. Mm-hmm.
More than themselves.
Yeah. So that's what a pool appointment is. It's just a conversation about life stuff, and ultimately, if I'm going to do a design, you're going to learn a little patience probably, because you're going to want it tomorrow, and sometimes it comes out tomorrow, but sometimes it takes a while.
Sometimes it'll be 6 months. Yep.
Well, you don't have to go there, but I mean, on rare occasion that's true.
Yeah.
But typically it takes several weeks.
Expect
Get there.
0 to 6 months. Okay, just side note from Sandy.
And then typically.
And then
Typically,
we'll-
once we have a design together, we'll have a budget at the same time, likely, or at least we'll have a concept that we'll review the concept and then we'll put
Yeah.
numbers to it.
And then we will talk more about it, and we will tell you what that looks like
Mhm.
next time we get together and have a conversation.
So we're done.
How about that?
Works for me.
All right. This was awesome. Hopefully you gleaned something from this experience as well. Thanks for watching.